Hello. So, my final journal, journal number 16. Um, Everyone's answering this question. So, choosing a previous journal entry from the semester, I'm going to rethink it. What changed? Why have I changed and what have I learned? So, as I was looking back on all the videos that I made, the one that I thought my answer probably changed the most is with journal number 2. The first the first set of journal questions. Journal number 2, when we were asked, the question I answered for that one was, "Which definition of religion best fits your view? Why, and what is missing from it, if anything?" And originally, I had said I thought, um, religion was a religion as social action, as a source of social action, and I think my stance is how do I put it? I still believe religion as a social action. I think that makes sense to me, because, it says, with all the pain and suffering on this earth, like, people look to religion as, like, a safe place, of, as a source of comfort, and I think that remains true. However, um, I would also add on to that, I think religion as belonging, um, is important to note, because what really stood out to me during the semester was groups like Christian Hardcore. That one I thought was so interesting, and I was actually looking at it, and I think that's my longest journal entry with it's like 8.5 minutes long, me talking about Christian Hardcore. That and also the atheist, choir group, they I would put them both under, religion as belonging because, like, even though atheists, they don't really have a religion, they're atheist, it's still, like, I said in a previous journal, like, it's social, they're together as a group, and that's kinda how, even though they're not religious, like, that's how you could define them under religion, I think. And then with the Christian hardcore group, I love that, like, I love the idea that, um there's different ways to express your religion, and there's not one clear way to do it. And the religion is belonging then, um, it's the soul of society, true purpose is not intellectual but social. Um, Carrier of social sentiments, providing symbols and rituals that enable people to express the deep emotions that anchor them to their community. So it's about community and what community you put yourself in and that you embrace and which you identify with, and um, how your community views religion, I think, and it's different for everyone. I think of my friend Kate from high school. She was really big into going to church and stuff. But was always interesting um, about like what she'd tell me about what she did in church was it always seemed like she had a group of people who she could rely on and who she did stuff with, outside of church. Like, I don't really have examples. I guess like doing stuff together. Like, she had a group of people who shared her same beliefs and, um, she was friends with and probably would have been friends with regardless, but I think it's like that religion also helps tie people together. Um, so yeah, let me okay, so why have I changed? Kinda like I said, it's just the learning about those groups like the atheist choir and the Christian hardcore, uh, it kinda changed my view of religion, um, in a way, because 'cause I've said this before, I'm not very religious, so, reading about them was interesting because, at least with the Christian hardcore group, like I said, it's interesting that there's different ways to express it and all, and, yeah, so while I still believe that, religion is a source of social action, I think, um 'cause that's, like, kinda what my grandma told me. I That's what I mentioned in journal number 2 was, like, I've had conversations with my grandma, and that's how she kind of explains it, why she believes in God and, like, why she's not scared to die, which I think is it always kind of freaks me out when she says that, but, so I still, believe in religion as a social action, but I think religion as a belonging holds a lot of importance, and, yeah, so although I'm not religious, I think and I'm not saying I'm gonna, like, start going to church and, like, become religious, but I think it would be cool to be a part of a group like that who you know you have something in common with, and it's even more than that. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like a I think it's a deep connection that one person with can have with another through religion. Unless maybe though, maybe I'm thinking with the hardcore Christians, they kind of ran into some trouble with the evangelical Christians, at least in the way they view things. So, which is really unfortunate because they all, I mean, ultimately they believe in the same thing. They just have different ways of expressing it. But yeah, religion as belonging, maybe like there's subgroups of belonging, if that makes sense. Kind of like the Christian hardcore group and like evangelical Christians. They both believe in the same Christian God, but they're 2 different groups of people in that within that religion, and then but that's where they belong. That is their belonging, and they feel I imagine they feel comfort in their group, and yeah, so that's why my opinion has changed slightly. Because before, I didn't really even consider that like, I had a few options of what I thought religion was. That one I was just kinda, like, brushed over, but I feel like it's like I said, I think it's quite important to recognize religion um, as both a social action and religion as belonging.